Welcome to my YouTube channel, a channel for Arabic and English books. Please subscribe.
Part 2. Protecting the desire-driven path to success. At this point, you may feel as if you have watched an amazing inspirational movie. The movie gives the impression that everything is pretty much perfect. When you leave your seat, you are already pacing back and forth, eager to try out this desire-driven path to success. However, this path alone is not enough to guarantee success. When there is a greater goal, there will be larger obstacles. You might take the first step, but never make it to the second, let alone all the many subsequent steps towards your personal goal. Protecting the desire-driven path to success is what we will now explore in Part 2. Such protection starts with being decisive. When Hill analyzed the success stories of those hundreds of people with a net worth of more than $1 million, he concluded that every one of them had the habit of promptly making decisions. And they had no fear of paying a price for their resolve. As a result, they got what they wanted and ultimately realized their dreams. Hill made a point of emphasizing that their resolution was born of extraordinary courage. A decisive example would be Abraham Lincoln in his decision to go ahead and issue the Emancipation Proclamation. The proclamation freed many enslaved Black Americans. Lincoln would have been fully aware that his resolution would attract opponents in their thousands and that it could even cost him his life. It took great courage to make such a firm decision. Another instance, from the perspective of American history, is the great decision made in Philadelphia on July 4, 1776. On that day, 56 people signed a document. All signatories knew their deed would either grant freedom to all American citizens or that everyone who had made their mark would be sent to the gallows. Hill pointed out that many people are likely to have heard the story of the origin of the Declaration of Independence, but it will not have occurred to all of them how much courage they needed to draft and endorse such a sweeping national proclamation of rights. However, most of us find it hard to summon the courage to make instant and determined decisions. According to Hill, it's because we suffer from the influence of deep-rooted fears buried in our hearts. There are 6 common fears: fear of poverty, of being criticized, of ill health, of the loss of love or of someone we love, of aging, and lastly, simply fear of dying. Among these haunting fears, the most destructive is the fear of poverty. Fear of poverty is a state of mind. Fear of poverty alone can dash a person's chances of success. You may wonder, isn't the fear of poverty more a force of motivation? No, the opposite is true. The book points out that it will distract your focus and send you off course. This fear dissipates your persistence and erodes your willpower. In addition, it will destroy your reason and imagination, stifle your self-reliance, smash your enthusiasm, and destroy any ambition you may have nurtured. In the end, racked by fear, you will lose control of your will. You will become indifferent, indecisive, doubtful, fretful, and overly cautious. You will procrastinate about everything you do. Any of these behaviors mark a drift, a wrong step on the path to riches. To be more specific, indifference is mainly characterized by a lack of ambition. It comes with a willingness to tolerate poverty and the sense that a wealthy life is something for other people. Indecision is a way of giving in so that others think and make decisions for you while you stay on the fence. It doesn't seem to be particularly harmful, but it is the most enormous barrier on the road to wealth. Moreover, people doubting everything every day will find all the excuses possible to justify their inaction. Fretfulness, on the other hand, leads to people complaining about everything, but they are too worried to make a fundamental change. Overcaution is like clouding the mind with negative energy. People wait endlessly for the right time to act, but it never comes. Lastly, procrastination is the manifestation of a lack of responsibility. When confronted with any difficulty, the procrastinator hopes for a miracle to sweep away all their troubles. The grim fear of poverty once affected Hill himself. It was so acute he almost abandoned his vision of this book. Then, when Carnegie advised Hill to take 20 years to interview 500 successful people, Hill recalled that his first reaction was terror. And then, with a voice in his heart saying, "You can't do it," he wanted to reject Carnegie's suggestion. Hill was oppressed by doubt. Fear demanded of him, "Do you have the necessary capabilities? The task is too ambitious. It will take too much time. What will your family think? They will think you are crazy. And what will you do for a living?" A succession of negative thoughts flooded his head. Fortunately, Hill's courage finally overwhelmed his fear. Hence now we can read this book together. It was also insight from this experience that allowed Hill to formulate his methods to counteract the fear of poverty. Hill's primary advice to beat fear is to hold on. Wait a little longer to give your ambition some time to assert itself and be allowed to overcome your emotional resistance. Hill observed that most ideas are suffocated by inner fears. Ideas are quashed as soon as they make their first appearance. So, the crucial moment to nurture an idea is as soon as it is born. The longer it lives, the stronger it becomes, and the higher its chances of surviving and coming to fruition. Hill then went on to warn against letting others' opinions smother your own thoughts. Hill was aware that opinions are cheap, the world's cheapest commodity. Everyone harbors a wealth of opinions ready to be doled out to anyone willing to buy into them. Suppose you are always influenced by these opinions when making your decisions. You will never accomplish anything meaningful nor make the proper choices you need to make on the path to riches. Lastly, Hill said, protect your decision. If you have a valid idea, you need to make sure you share it only with people who share your perspectives. Only they will be likely to resonate with your conception and give you strength, encouragement, and support. Only by communicating your idea with an astute and appropriate audience will you win the chance to cultivate it and realize your dream. Well, now you have eliminated your fear, it is finally time to jump on the train, the fast track on the desire-driven path. Or is it? New problems immediately follow. How do you ensure that the train has enough fuel and enough power to take you to the destination? You will need to persist if you seek to maintain this train to its final stop. For the train named desire, persistence is the fuel. Many people, straight away, abandon their goals as soon as they hit their first obstacle. Few stay the course, remain unwavering and steam ahead. This is because they have the quality of persistence. Hill used the analogy of iron turned into steel. He says the spirit of persistence is to a person's character what carbon is to steel. How can you be resilient like steel? Can you cultivate persistence? You can if you follow these 4 steps. Firstly, you need to have a defining purpose backed by your burning desire for its fulfillment. Then, develop your plan to guide your actions in a continuum. Third, be aware and shrug off discouraging influences, such as negative comments from your friends or relatives. Lastly, seek to form friendly alliances with people who will encourage you to stick on the route to your objective. Congratulations, you persisted and have reached the end of part 2. We have mentioned 3 key factors on the path to success: courage, persistence, and awareness that fear is your worst enemy. Understanding these 3 factors helps you to follow your dream and progress toward its ultimate realization. We have summarized the major points of Think and Grow Rich. Let's briefly recap. In part 1, we mentioned that for countless people seeking a path to success, desire is the force that will compel them to set out and will sustain them on their journey. There are several steps to be undertaken along the way. First, they must have an idea. The idea is the compelling motivation that rouses their desire and gets them on the move. Then, the subconscious comes into play and they need to use autosuggestion to get it moving in the direction they need to support their program. With the subconscious mind on board, they can develop faith in a successful outcome and form a plan before needing to take any concrete action. If you rely solely on your plan, you will lose momentum in the end. Autosuggestion keeps the subconscious on track, and it acts as a middleman, while desire powers forward with unshakable confidence until the end goal is achieved. In Part 2, we mentioned 3 key factors. First, extraordinary courage helps people make prompt and determined decisions, so that they can achieve success and realize their dreams. Second, we should be aware of our fear of poverty. It is this destructive force that clouds our minds and makes us indifferent, doubtful, indecisive, and anxious. Hill proposed 3 ways to help us overcome this vicious mindset. Then, Hill pointed out that not everyone was born with persistence, but it is one of the prerequisites for people to become rich. We need to continue to enhance our persistence. Think and Grow Rich has helped countless people build their hopes, find courage, and come to believe they can follow their unique path to success. Amazingly, Hill's research findings remain relevant to this day. The book's core ideas have not dated and still define the traits of successful people. No matter what books you read or courses you attend on the principles of success, they won't deviate far from the basic framework Hill established. Anyone can draw inspiration from this book. If you want to consider what it means to grow rich and possess the desire to do so, the book will help you succeed. This is why we strongly recommend it. Every time you pick it up, you will learn something new.